Picture a world shrouded in mystery and awe, where the tides of history are shaped by fierce warriors and uncharted explorations. Now imagine this world ruled not just by the strength of its people, but by customs that echo with eerie whispers from the past. Welcome to the realm of the Vikings, a civilization whose legacy is etched in the annals of history, not only for their unmatched prowess in battle and adventurous voyages across the seas, but also for practices that today might chill us to the core. As we venture into the shadowy corners of their existence, prepare to uncover those eerie rituals and traditions that were woven into the fabric of Viking life, yet seem unfathomable to us now. From sacrificial rites to supernatural beliefs, join us as we unravel the spine-tingling secrets of a culture where the unsettling was utterly commonplace. Journey with us and discover the creepy yet captivating world of the Vikings like never before. Viking funerals were both a spectacle and a solemn ritual, steeped in the beliefs that guided their journey to the afterlife. Among these, the ship burial stands out as perhaps the most iconic and chilling. Imagine a grand vessel symbolizing both status and passage, set ablaze or buried beneath the earth, cradling the deceased alongside their treasured possessions and sometimes even their loyal servants who were not merely mourners but sacrifices intended to accompany their master into the next realm. These acts of devotion underscored a deep-seated belief in Valhalla, the glorious hall of the slain, ruled by Odin himself. The Vikings held firm to the notion that a warrior's journey didn't end with death, but instead transitioned to an eternal existence where they would revel and fight alongside the gods. Funerary rites were intrinsically tied to this belief, aiming to equip the deceased with all they might require in the afterlife. Beyond the grandeur of the ship burials, archaeological excavations have uncovered grave sites adorned with weapons, jewelry, and personal items, each telling a story of a life lived and a hopeful journey ahead. Artistic reconstructions of these ceremonies reveal a vivid tapestry of cultural symbolism and reverence for the dead, showcasing how these epic send-offs were meant to ensure a glorious reception in the afterlife. The visceral intensity of these rituals, marked by both celebration and sacrifice, paint a picture of a society where death was not an end but a powerful transformation, as much a part of life as the sea they revered. As we delve deeper, we find ourselves not only facing the physical remnants of these practices, but the resounding echoes of a people for whom the transition from life to death was a profoundly communal and spiritual journey. The brutal concept of blood feuds permeated Viking society, revealing a world where honor was defended with an unyielding cycle of retaliatory violence. Imagine a culture where the slightest insult or perceived injustice ignited a conflict that could span generations. These feuds weren't merely personal vendettas but were deeply rooted in the societal expectations of the time. Honor was paramount, and families were compelled to avenge wrongdoings to maintain their reputation and status within the community. The profound impact of these feuds on Viking life was inescapable. Communities were often caught in a web of retribution, where a single act of vengeance would rip through, creating lasting enmity and unrest. This cycle of violence would sometimes spread across entire regions as families sought allies and reinforcements to bolster their cause. Historical accounts echo with tales of infamous vendettas, each more ruthless than the last, painting a vivid picture of the chaos that reigned. These accounts transport us to a time when justice was personal and often bloody, where maps of Viking territories highlight the regions most scarred by these persistent conflicts. Far from being a mere relic of the past, these feuds were an integral part of Viking culture, dictating social interactions and the very fabric of their communal lives. As we venture further, it's crucial to understand how these norms and traditions forged a society that thrived on both loyalty and fear, showcasing a stark contrast between the fierce bonds forged in loyalty and the ever-present threat of betrayal lurking beneath. Human sacrifice rituals in Viking culture are a testament to the lengths this civilization would go to maintain the favor of the gods or to secure victory in impending battles. Imagine a world where human life was offered as a direct plea to the divine, a world where the line between the mortal realm and the spiritual was thin and constantly crossed. Evidence of such chilling rites has been uncovered through archaeological findings and historical texts that paint a stark picture of these sacrifices. Among the most discussed sites are the bogs of Denmark, where the remains of those sacrificed have been preserved in the peaty depths for centuries, allowing us a glimpse into this grim practice. These bog sacrifices often involved individuals meticulously placed in the marshes, their lives given in what was believed to be an offering of utmost importance. Historical records from neighboring cultures and the Vikings themselves speak of the significance of these sacrifices, recording them as crucial in appeasing gods like Odin and Thor. The rituals were not random acts of violence but rather structured ceremonies, often conducted by the elite or the spiritual leaders of the community, ensuring the ritual's sanctity and its perceived success. Artistic reconstructions and archaeological reconstructions provide vivid visuals of these ceremonies, depicting gathered crowds, solemn priests, and the haunting atmosphere that surrounded such pivotal events. These images bring to life a culture where the supernatural played a vital role, and the willingness to sacrifice human life was both a testament to their beliefs and a chilling reminder of the era's harsh realities. As we continue to uncover more about these rites, it is clear that for the Vikings, these rituals were a profound intersection between faith and survival, a practice that, while unsettling today, was a normalized expression of devotion in their world. Seiðr Magic and Sorcery opened a window into the mystical aspect of Viking life, unveiling a world where Viking shamans, known as völvers, wielded powers that seemed nothing short of extraordinary. This ancient form of Norse witchcraft was a cornerstone of Viking spirituality, allowing practitioners to weave spells that predicted future events, altered the natural order, and even cursed foes with chilling effectiveness. It is fascinating to consider how these magical practices were not only accepted but revered within their communities, lending an air of prestige to those who could harness such powers. Predominantly a domain of women, Seiðr emphasized the unique spiritual authority women could hold in Viking society, challenging the often masculine narratives of power and influence. This predominance of female sorcerers opened avenues for women to exert significant influence, blurring the lines of traditional gender roles. Völvers, through their rituals, often became pivotal figures in guiding leaders and communities through tumultuous times, bestowed with both respect and fear. The societal implications were profound, as support for Seiðr practices coexisted alongside more conventional roles, illustrating a complex tapestry of belief and tradition. Visual depictions of Seiðr ceremonies reveal vivid images of chanting, rituals, and supernatural phenomena, transporting us to a time where the mystical was an integral part of daily life. These practices underscored a broader belief system that intertwined fate and magic, empowering those able to navigate its intricacies. In delving into the world of Seiðr, we unveil a culture that recognized the power of the unseen, embracing a reality where the mystical and mundane were inextricably linked, painting a vivid picture of a society that thrived on both the tangible and the mysterious. The terrifying warrior cult of the Berserkers stands out in Viking lore as a truly fearsome and enigmatic force. Imagine warriors who, upon entering battle, shed the restraints of humanity to become untamed vessels of fury, embodying the rawest form of primal aggression. The Berserkers were infamous for their frenzied and uncontrollable rage, striking fear into the hearts of both their enemies and allies. These warriors were often depicted as donning animal pelts, typically those of wolves or bears, which they believed endowed them with the totemic strength and ferocity of these creatures. But what truly set the Berserkers apart was their ability to invoke a trance-like state that rendered them impervious to pain and fatigue, creating an aura of invincibility on the battlefield. Historical accounts and sagas suggest that the Berserkers' battle frenzy might have been induced by consuming hallucinogenic substances, such as mushrooms or potent herbal concoctions, which altered their consciousness and heightened their aggression. This theory is bolstered by descriptions of their wild, unseeing eyes and their apparent lack of awareness of their own injuries during combat. The Berserkers did not just fight, they erupted into battle with a ferocity that was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, often serving as shock troops that broke enemy lines with sheer force and intimidation. Illustrations from the era vividly depict these fearsome warriors, capturing scenes of chaos and power that seemed almost mythical in their intensity. Their role in Viking warfare was that of not just simple combatants but as embodiments of chaos and fear, tools wielded to demoralize and decimate foes. As we explore the tales and images that surround the Berserkers, we find a captivating blend of myth and reality that paints a picture of warriors who lived on the edge of the supernatural, merging the known world with the uncharted territories of the human psyche. Such stories remind us of a time when the boundaries between man and beast were not only blurred but celebrated, allowing the Vikings to harness a fearsome power that lives on in legend. The various methods of torture employed by the Vikings are as chilling as they are legendary, standing as haunting reminders of their brutal world. Among these, the blood eagle stands out as one of the most feared and infamous forms of execution. Picture a scene so gruesome yet symbolic that it was designed to not only punish but also serve as a stark warning to others. The blood eagle involved a horrifying ritual in which the victim's ribs were severed from the spine and pulled apart, creating a wing-like appearance, while their lungs were pulled out to flutter in the open air. Such an act wasn't merely about inflicting pain, it was an elaborate message meant to instill fear and demonstrate power. The cultural significance of these torturous acts was profound. They were not arbitrary acts of cruelty, but rather calculated demonstrations aimed at deterring enemies, displaying dominance, and maintaining order and respect within their own ranks. These brutal practices were intended to communicate that defiance or betrayal would be met with uncompromising savagery, reinforcing the Vikings' reputation as formidable and fearsome warriors. Historical texts and sagas detail these practices, emphasizing their role in embodying the harsh realities of Viking justice and the lengths to which they would go to secure their codes of honor. Artistic depictions from the era capture these scenes in vivid detail, serving as both warnings and testament to a society where reputation and fear were closely intertwined. These representations not only illustrate the methods themselves, but also echo the broader themes of power and control central to Viking life. As we delve into these dark aspects, we uncover a complex understanding of how the Vikings wielded violence as a tool of psychological warfare, ensuring their legends lived on through the tales of those who survived to tell the tale. The wild and sometimes dangerous drinking feasts in Viking culture were not just about revelry but played a crucial role in their social and political fabric. Picture a scene where longhouses echoed with the sounds of clinking horns and boisterous laughter as Vikings gathered in large numbers to partake in these feasts. These gatherings were often characterized by their vibrant and chaotic nature, providing a setting where bonds were forged and alliances were solidified. The immense brewing vats, filled with potent mead and ale, served as both sustenance and a symbol of hospitality and wealth. Such feasts weren't merely social occasions but vital opportunities for leaders to display their generosity and prowess, often to ensure loyalty and prepare for upcoming conflicts. These events were strategic theaters where decisions about war, peace, and trade were made amidst the haze of alcohol and camaraderie. Visualize the enormous longhouses bustling with life, filled to the brim with revelers who engaged in storytelling, boasting of past conquests and planning future expeditions. The air would be thick with the smell of roasted meats, grains, and the distinctive brew that was a staple of their diet. This unique aspect of Viking life highlights how feasting was not just about indulgence but a core element of their societal structure, reflecting a world where celebration and strategy walked hand in hand. The depiction of these feasts captures the essence of a community that thrived on unity and strength, solidified over a shared cup, revealing a culture where even in moments of joy, every sip was a reminder of the ever-present need for vigilance and alliance. Through these images and stories, we gain insight into how the Vikings intertwined celebration with survival, creating a tapestry of life that was as strategic as it was spirited. The macabre practice of using enemies' skulls as drinking vessels is a stark reflection of the Viking era's blend of brutality and symbolism. Imagine the unsettling scene of a Viking warrior having vanquished a foe, taking the ultimate trophy, a skull, to fashion into a cup. This act was not merely about triumph over an enemy but was deeply symbolic. Drinking from the skull of a defeated adversary was seen as a powerful display of strength and bravado, a way to consume the essence of the vanquished and absorb their power. It was a ritual steeped in the belief that through this act the victor could inherit the courage and vigor of the fallen. Archaeological evidence supports the existence of this practice, with excavated sites revealing skulls that have been modified for such use, bearing the marks of skilled craftsmanship intended to transform them into practical, albeit grim, drinking vessels. Artistic depictions from the period further underscore the prevalence of this custom, presenting warriors celebrating with these ghastly goblets in hand. The skull cups a conspicuous testament to their prowess and dominance. These portrayals serve as a chilling reminder of a world where power was asserted through such visceral means, where victory was not just about survival but an opportunity to demonstrate superiority in the most tangible fashion. In exploring this practice, we uncover a society that found profound meaning in the symbolic consumption of its enemies, intertwining the physical and spiritual in a way that is both fascinating and haunting. The Viking slave trade, known as thralls, offers a glimpse into a dark and often overlooked aspect of Viking culture where human lives were commodities traded, captured, and integrated into their society. Thralls were primarily obtained through raids where Vikings would capture men, women, and children from conquered territories. These unfortunate individuals were then tethered to the Viking way of life, serving various roles within the household and economy. The thralls were integral to the Viking social structure, often serving as laborers in agriculture, crafts, and domestic work. While some were afforded a degree of respect based on their skills or loyalty, the conditions they endured were typically harsh, marked by a lack of autonomy and strenuous labor. Historical records and archaeological artifacts provide a sobering picture of their existence, revealing tools and living quarters associated with thrall life that underscore their crucial yet oppressed role in Viking society. These findings suggest that while thralls were essential to the economic and domestic spheres, their lives were characterized by a constant struggle for survival and freedom. The role of thralls extended beyond mere servitude. They were also vital to the expansion and maintenance of Viking power, often contributing to the building of ships and fortifications. By examining the remnants of their lives, we gain insight into the complexities of Viking society, where power dynamics were starkly visible, and the lines between free men and thralls were both physically and ideologically imposed. This exploration reveals a society where prosperity and conquest came at a considerable human cost, providing a chilling reminder of the far-reaching impacts of Viking raids that echoed far beyond their shores. As we delve deeper into the life of thralls, we uncover a world that thrived on both freedom and bondage, painting a picture of a civilization where the strength of some came at the expense of many. The belief in Draugr in Viking culture unveils a chilling dimension to their mythology that continues to captivate our imaginations. Picture a world where the dead were not just mourned but feared, as ancient Norse mythology warned of the Draugr, undead beings that rose from their graves to torment the living. These revenants were believed to possess a terrifying array of powers, including immense strength, supernatural shape-shifting abilities, and an insatiable thirst for vengeance. As guardians of their burial sites, the Draugr were thought to fiercely protect the treasures and secrets interred with them, warding off any who dared to disturb their eternal slumber. This fear of the undead was deeply rooted in their culture, where tales of these eerie creatures circulated within the Norse sagas, echoing through generations. One could envision the eerie atmosphere painted by these stories, where the shadows lengthened and whispered with the presence of the Draugr. Modern artistic interpretations bring these myths vividly to life, depicting the haunting visage of the Draugr with their ghostly blue skin and glowing eyes, reflecting their otherworldly nature and fearsome reputation. The dread of encountering a Draugr was palpable, prompting families to take precautions during burials, such as securing burial mounds tightly and placing protective symbols to prevent these beings from rising. This belief in the Draugr wasn't merely a tale of spooky bedtime stories, but a core part of the Norse understanding of life and death, illustrating a world where the boundary between the living and the dead was thin and permeable, forever entangled in the shadows of the unknown. Through the lens of these ancient stories and their vibrant depictions, we glimpse a society profoundly aware of the mysteries of the afterlife, finding expression in tales that remain as captivating and eerie today as they were in the halls of the Vikings. Viking raids and pillaging are perhaps the most iconic aspects of their legacy, evoking a time when the mere sight of a dragon-headed longship on the horizon struck fear into the hearts of coastal communities across Europe. Picture swift and calculated strikes where Viking warriors, driven by a desire for wealth and territory, descended upon unsuspecting villages and monasteries with ruthless efficiency. Their tactics were as brutal as they were effective, often involving surprise attacks under the cover of dawn or dusk, allowing them to overpower their enemies before organized defenses could be mustered. These raids were not merely reckless acts of violence, but were underpinned by economic and strategic motivations. In a world where resources were finite and power was measured by riches and influence, the Vikings saw raiding as a viable means of expansion and survival. The spoils of these raids, gold, silver, livestock, and slaves, were crucial in bolstering their societies and economies, enabling them to thrive and sustain their communities back home. Maps depicting routes of these marauding journeys highlight the vast expanse of Viking influence, stretching from the British Isles to the coasts of the Mediterranean and beyond. The historical accounts of the time, both from Viking sagas and the chronicles of their victims, paint a vivid picture of the era's chaos and upheaval. Viking perspectives often glorified these expeditions as noble pursuits, full of adventure and honor, while accounts from those on the receiving end described the terror and destruction left in their wake. These contrasting narratives provide a multifaceted view of a world where the Vikings were seen both as fearsome invaders and as cunning navigators. By exploring these raids, we uncover a society that, while defined by its ferocity, was also driven by pragmatic needs and ambitions, shaping a legacy that echoes through history as both conquerors and traders. This duality reminds us of the intricate balance between survival and domination that defined the Viking Age. Gruesome battle traditions in Viking culture were an integral part of their reputation as fearsome warriors, showcasing a society that revered not only strength in combat but the ritualistic aspects of warfare. Imagine stepping onto a battlefield where the clash of swords and the cries of warriors were accompanied by a chilling practice, the taking of heads as trophies. This grisly custom was more than a mere symbol of victory. It served as a powerful tool of psychological warfare. By displaying the severed heads of their enemies, the Vikings aimed to instill terror and respect, asserting their dominance both on the battlefield and in the tales that followed. Such acts were deeply embedded in their warrior ethos, seen as tangible proof of bravery and prowess, enhancing the warrior's status within their own ranks and intimidating any potential rivals. Historical sagas and accounts from the Viking Age vividly describe these practices, offering detailed narratives that convey the raw intensity of these traditions. Archaeological excavations have unearthed burial sites containing not only weapons and armor, but also the grim remnants of these trophies, further substantiating the historical accounts with tangible evidence. These findings reveal a culture where battle was not just a means of conquest but a profound expression of identity and valor, reflecting a warrior society where honor and fear were inextricably linked. By delving into these customs, we uncover a world where the spoils of war extended beyond material wealth to include the very essence of one's foes, a chilling reminder of a time when warfare was as much about psychological supremacy as it was about physical victory. Through examining these battle traditions, we gain a deeper understanding of how the Vikings wielded their fearsome reputation as a strategic asset, ensuring their tales of ferocity endured long after the dust of battle had settled, reminding us of the complex interplay between power, respect, and fear that defined their world. The sacred groves where Vikings conducted their heathen worship and sacrificial rites reveal a profound aspect of their spiritual life, one deeply intertwined with the natural world and the divine. Imagine entering an ancient forest clearing where the air hangs heavy with the anticipation of the rituals to come. These groves were not mere geographical locations but revered spaces where the Vikings connected with their pantheon of gods in a tangible and mystical manner. Within these enclaves of nature, both animal and human offerings were made to honor deities such as Odin, Thor, and Freyja, each sacrifice a solemn plea for favor, prosperity, or victory. The rituals conducted in these groves were marked by their intensity and reverence, reflecting a belief system that saw the natural world as a living extension of the divine. Archaeological reconstructions and artifacts found at various sites provide insight into these practices, showcasing altars, ceremonial tools, and remnants of offerings that point to the sacredness of these rituals. These findings paint a vivid picture of a culture that perceived divinity in the beauty and ferocity of nature, viewing these groves as gateways between the mortal and the divine. The groves themselves echoed with the chants and incantations of priests and shamans, who acted as intermediaries between the Vikings and their gods, interpreting signs and ensuring the success of the rites. Through their worship, the Vikings sought to maintain balance in their world, appeasing the gods to bring about favorable outcomes in war, harvests, and life. The sanctity of these groves underscores the Vikings' deep respect for their gods and the lengths to which they would go to secure their blessings, offering a glimpse into a worldview where the spiritual and physical were seamlessly intertwined. As we explore these sacred spaces, we uncover a civilization that embraced the mysteries of their world through rituals both awe-inspiring and chilling, reminding us of their enduring legacy of faith and reverence. Ritualistic cannibalism presents one of the most controversial and debated aspects of Viking culture, a topic shrouded in mystery and speculation. Imagine a world where the lines between life and death, reverence and consumption, were blurred by beliefs that transformed the human body into a vessel of power and spirituality. Historical sagas and scant archaeological evidence suggest that consuming human flesh may have been practiced not out of necessity but as a potent ritual. These acts were potentially driven by the hope of gaining strength, courage, or even spiritual essence from the individuals consumed. Archaeological findings, though sparse, have unearthed bone fragments bearing cut marks that imply they might have been subject to ritualistic practices. These traces, although unable to directly confirm cannibalism, offer tantalizing clues into the darker corners of Viking life. The ritualistic purpose of such acts, if they occurred, would likely have been to honor gods, celebrate victories, or fortify bonds within warrior cults. Yet, this topic remains heavily debated among scholars. the evidence is interpretative, relying heavily on ancient texts that may have been exaggerated or misinterpreted over time. Some scholars argue that reports of cannibalism were propaganda from the Vikings' enemies, intended to paint them as barbaric and savage. Others believe that even if practiced, it was limited to specific sects or occasions, not a widespread custom. This debate illustrates the complexity of piecing together historical narratives from fragmented sources, leaving room for both skepticism and fascination. As we delve into this unsettling aspect of Viking culture, we are reminded of the murky waters of history where fact and myth often intertwine, challenging our understanding of how far the Vikings might have ventured to intertwine life and the supernatural. This exploration invites us to question, reflect, and continue seeking the truth amidst the shadows of the past. Viking curses and spells reveal another layer of their mystical world, where words held immense power to alter fates and destinies. Imagine a society where a simple utterance could bring about misfortune or safeguard one's kin from unseen dangers. Curses were often cast to harm foes, invoking the wrath of the gods or unleashing mischief upon enemies. Such curses were believed to be most potent when woven with intense emotions like anger or vengeance, delivered through incantations that resonated with the forces of nature and the divine. On the flip side, spells were also used to protect allies and bless undertakings, calling upon divine favor and fortitude. The Vikings employed an array of techniques to cast these powerful rituals, often using runes inscribed on stones, metal, or wood. These runes, each with distinct meanings and energies, were combined in intricate designs to formulate specific outcomes. Magical symbols engraved on these items played an essential role in amplifying the spell's strength, serving as conduits for the mystical forces the Vikings sought to manipulate. Rune stones with such engravings have been discovered across northern Europe, bearing witness to the prevalent belief in their magical effectiveness and the care with which they were crafted. These stones not only served functional purposes in their magical practices, but also held cultural and spiritual significance, embedding the power of language into the landscape of Viking life. By exploring the world of Viking curses and spells, we step into a realm where the spoken word transcended mere communication, becoming a powerful tool for influencing reality itself. This fascinating practice illustrates how the Vikings perceived their world, blending the tangible with the mystical in a way that underlined their deep connection to both the earth and the cosmos. Through these rituals, we glimpse a civilization where magic was not only an art but a practical aspect of daily life, interwoven into the social and spiritual fabric that defined their existence. Trolldom and superstitions unveil the eerie world of mythological beings that were as real to the Vikings as the very landscapes they called home. Imagine a world where trolls and supernatural creatures lurked in the shadows, influencing daily life and decisions with their spectral presence. These beliefs were woven into the fabric of Viking culture, where every natural wonder, from the towering fjords to the dense, tangled forests, was considered a possible dwelling place for these enigmatic entities. Such creatures were often portrayed in folklore as either mischievous tricksters or formidable giants, capable of both aiding or obstructing humans depending on their whims. The tales of trolls and other mythical beings circulated widely throughout Viking society, becoming an integral part of their oral traditions and sagas. These stories served not only as entertainment but as cautionary tales and moral lessons that reinforced societal values. Each tale carried the weight of history and superstition, urging listeners to heed the warnings of their ancestors when wandering too far from the safety of their villages. Imagine storytellers recounting epic sagas by firelight, weaving tales so vivid that listeners could almost hear the whisper of the supernatural in the wind. The geographic landmarks often tied to these tales became sacred sites, inspiring reverence and sometimes fear. Places like Trolltunga or the Troll Wall in Norway stand today as silent witnesses to these stories, their very names echoing the mythical beings that once filled the imaginations of the Norse people. These sites were not only markers of physical geography, but also of a spiritual and cultural landscape that recognized the power of the unseen. Such beliefs in the supernatural were deeply embedded in Viking life, shaping their understanding of the world and guiding their actions. By delving into the myths of trolldom and superstition, we uncover a civilization deeply aware of the mysteries of their world, where the line between myth and reality was barely perceptible, and every decision was a step into the unknown. Through these stories and places, we glimpse a culture where the ethereal and the earthly danced a delicate ballet, forever entwined in the mysteries of the Viking Age. Prophecies and omens played a pivotal role in Viking society, where the future was as tangible as the sea spray on their faces, guiding both daily life and significant decisions. Imagine a world where every bird's flight, thunderstorm, or ripple in the water was a message from the divine. The Vikings were deeply connected to their environment, believing that the cosmos spoke to them through subtle signs and symbols. Rune casting, one of the most renowned practices, involved inscribing ancient Norse letters on stones, wood, or bones. These runes were not just characters but held profound meanings and powers, each capable of revealing insights into what lay ahead. Seers, individuals believed to have the gift of foresight, would cast these runes, interpreting their messages to unveil the future. These rituals were conducted with great reverence, often in sacred groves or within the community, where the seer's guidance was valued above all. The interpretations gleaned from rune casting could determine the outcome of battles, voyages, or even personal disputes. Beyond rune casting, omens were another vital aspect of Viking foresight. The sound of a crow's caw or the appearance of the aurora borealis could be seen as indicators of fortunes to come. These signs were studied with intensity, as their meanings were believed to carry divine instructions or warnings. Societal decisions, from raiding plans to marriage alliances, often hinged on these interpretations, underscoring the deep-rooted belief in the gods' involvement in human affairs. Illustrations of rune stones reveal their intricate designs, showcasing the care and artistry that went into crafting these tools of prophecy. Historical depictions of seers, often shown with eyes gazing into realms beyond our own, highlight their esteemed position in Viking culture. Through prophecies and omens, we uncover a world where knowledge of the future intertwined deeply with daily existence, shaping the very fabric of Viking life and offering glimpses into the mysteries that guided their boldest and most fateful choices. Viking hygiene practices were surprisingly advanced for their era, yet certain customs may appear odd or unsettling to us now. Imagine a world where communal bathing was not only a necessity but a social event. The Vikings gathered in large groups to cleanse in natural hot springs and constructed steamy bathhouses where they would scrub and soak, engaging in conversations as much as in cleansing. These communal baths served as places of hygiene and social bonding, fostering community ties while ensuring cleanliness. Archaeological findings reveal the tools they used: combs, soap made from animal fats, and tweezers, all indicating their commitment to personal grooming. However, it's their dental care that might seem peculiar today. Vikings cleaned their teeth using sticks crafted from tree branches and bristles fashioned from horsehair, a testament to their resourcefulness. Artistic depictions and unearthed artifacts affirm these practices, highlighting a culture that valued cleanliness long before it became a broader societal norm. These insights into Viking hygiene illuminate a culture that intertwined the practical with the peculiar, showcasing their efforts to maintain health while adhering to customs that modern eyes might find intriguing. As we delve into these practices, we uncover a civilization where cleanliness was a communal affair and innovation guided their approach to hygiene, reflecting both their resourcefulness and unique societal norms. Nightmares of Ragnarok loomed large in the Viking psyche, presenting an apocalyptic vision that foretold the end of the world in horrifying detail. Imagine a myth where the cosmos unraveled through a series of catastrophic events that signaled the downfall of gods and men alike. This chilling prophecy, deeply embedded in Norse mythology, spoke of a great battle where the heavens would split and the earth would tremble, leading to a world consumed by chaos. The forces of darkness, led by fearsome creatures such as Fenrir, the monstrous wolf, and Jörmungandr, the immense sea serpent, were destined to rise against the gods, bringing about an age of destruction. Fire and ash would engulf the land as the sun and moon were swallowed from the sky, casting an eternal night upon the world. This vivid narrative, captured in saga texts, painted a stark picture of inevitability and cosmic struggle. The concept of Ragnarök wasn't merely a story but a belief that resonated deeply within Viking culture, shaping their understanding of fate and the cyclical nature of existence. Artistic depictions from the period capture scenes of this foretold destruction, highlighting the terror and awe it inspired. These images, with their dramatic portrayals of battle and doom, served as reminders of the ever-present potential for catastrophe. The tale of Ragnarök influenced the Viking worldview, nurturing a resilience and fierce acceptance of destiny. It underscored their belief in honor and valor, even in the face of impending doom. As we explore this myth, we uncover a culture that stood defiantly against the shadows of annihilation, embracing the prophecy not as a finale but as a transformation, illustrating a society that saw beauty in both creation and destruction, forever intertwined in the great cycle of life and rebirth. Through the lens of Ragnarök, we perceive a people who lived boldly, driven by the haunting whispers of an end foretold, emboldened by the knowledge that even in inevitable defeat, there lies the potential for renewal. Creepy burial customs for women in Viking society paint a vivid picture of reverence and complexity, reflecting their distinctive role and status within the culture. Imagine a world where the final resting places of Viking queens and völvers were not merely graves but elaborate displays of their earthly power and spiritual significance. These burials were often accompanied by intricate grave goods, a tangible testament to the privilege and esteem these women held. Personal possessions, jewelry, and even ceremonial items were interred with them, each piece a story of their life and the legacy they left behind. In some instances, sacrificial animals or thralls were also laid to rest alongside these women, believed to serve or accompany them into the afterlife. This practice underscores the deep belief in an afterlife where the deceased would continue their journey, equipped with all they might require. The inclusion of such sacrifices highlights the spiritual and social importance accorded to these women, often seen as intermediaries between the mortal world and the divine. As leaders, protectors, and seers, women in Viking society occupied pivotal roles that were celebrated and preserved in death. Archaeological sites echo with the remnants of these customs, revealing a world where gender roles transcended mere societal function, weaving women into the very fabric of myth and ritual. These rich burial traditions not only illustrate the reverence for women, but offer insights into a culture where the past and present were intricately linked, each burial a chapter in the saga of life and death. As we delve into these customs, we uncover a civilization that recognized the enduring influence of its women, immortalizing their contributions through rituals that echo with both honor and mystery. Through the lens of these unique burials, we glimpse a society where life, death, and legacy were profoundly interconnected, each grave a testament to the power and respect commanded by the women who shaped Viking history. Cursed Viking treasures whisper tales of ill fortune that shadowed their daring quests and seize our imaginations with a chilling allure. Imagine treasures that, far from bringing wealth and glory, were said to bring only doom to their possessors. Stories abound of cursed artifacts spirited away from distant shores by daring Viking explorers, each bearing not only the weight of gold and gems but a sinister promise of tragedy. Among the most infamous is the tale of the fabled runestone of Orkney, believed to bring misfortune upon any who attempt to decipher its cryptic inscriptions. Legend has it that those who dared unlock its secrets were haunted by spectral visions and plagued by unyielding miseries. This tale weaves through the fabric of Viking history, a dire warning etched in stone. Likewise, the saga of the curse of the famed Ring of Andvari tells of a band of gold said to strike madness into the hearts of all who sought its fortune, leaving a trail of broken minds and scattered lives in its wake. These legends were more than mere stories. They served as potent reminders of the consequences of greed and hubris, cautioning against overstepping the bounds of mortal ambition. Archaeological findings often reveal artifacts that resonate with these tales, unearthed alongside hints of their dark pasts. Sites bearing remnants of treasures that history whispers were cursed offer tantalizing glimpses into the past where legend and reality blur. Records from the time echo with cautionary notes, detailing the lives of those touched by these fated relics and amplifying the air of mystery that surrounds them. As we uncover these stories, we are drawn into a world where every gleam of gold could herald a shadow, inviting us to ponder the blurred lines between myth and memory. Through these cursed treasures, we glimpse a past teetering on the edge of superstition and history, challenging us to decipher where legend ends and truth begins. Viking zombie stories bring to life the eerie legends of the Draugr, nightmarish creatures that played a significant role in Norse mythology. Imagine a dark night where whispers of the Draugr creep into the edges of dreams, terrifying both children and adults with tales that explain the unexplainable. These beings, often described as undead warriors, were said to rise from their graves with malevolent intent. The Draugr possessed a ghastly array of abilities, including immense strength, the power to increase their size at will, and a chilling control over the environment, such as bringing darkness or cold wherever they went. In Norse mythology, the Draugr were believed to haunt the living primarily to protect their treasures buried with them or to exact revenge on those who wronged them in life. Their presence lingered over the burial mounds where they guarded their wealth and secrets with a relentless vengeance. Tales of the Draugr painted them as almost indestructible, with only certain rituals and ancient rites capable of banishing them back to the shadows. They could pass through solid objects, shapeshift, and even summon the spirits of the dead, marking them as one of the most feared entities in Viking lore. Parents would often use stories of the Draugr to warn children about the dangers lurking in the unknown, weaving these tales into the fabric of everyday life to instill caution. Norse sagas vividly chronicled their terrifying encounters, keeping the fear of the undead alive through generations. Modern interpretations continue to depict these creatures with ghastly detail, portraying their undead forms with hollow eyes and spectral figures that haunt the imagination. These stories, rooted in both fear and fascination, reveal a Viking society deeply concerned with the mysteries of death and the supernatural. As we delve deeper into the world of the Draugr, we uncover a rich tapestry of myth that sought to explain the inexplicable, offering an intriguing glimpse into how the Vikings perceived the boundaries between life and death. Through these haunting legends, we explore a past where the line between reality and the supernatural was blurred, forever echoing with the chilling presence of the Draugr. The creepy Viking games were much more than mere entertainment. They were a testament to the Vikings' intense focus on bravery and physical prowess. Imagine gatherings where warriors engaged in games that tested their strength, agility, and courage, often with potentially deadly outcomes. These contests weren't just light-hearted pastimes, but serious demonstrations of skill and valor, often involving weapons that one might expect on the battlefield rather than in a sport. One such game, described in saga accounts, involved the participants hurling spears at each other, a chilling practice that required not only precision and speed but unwavering courage. The risks were significant, as even the slightest miscalculation could lead to injury or worse. Yet, these games were integral to Viking life, serving as both a training ground and a spectacle that celebrated martial skill. The cultural significance of these events lay in their role as a proving ground for warriors, honing their abilities for real battles and reinforcing the importance of physical and mental toughness. Participating in these games was a way to earn respect and admiration, as they showcased the qualities most revered in Viking society, such as strength, resilience, and fearlessness. Historical sagas recount these games in vivid detail, capturing the tension and excitement that filled the air as the contestants faced off. Through these narratives, we glimpse a world where sports and combat were intricately linked, reflecting a culture that revered warrior ideals and saw them echoed in every facet of life. By delving into these brutal games, we uncover the ways in which the Vikings celebrated their warrior spirit, turning physical contests into powerful rituals that highlighted the core values of their society. This exploration reveals how deeply rooted bravery and prowess were in the Viking identity, forever enshrined in the tales of their legendary gatherings. The fear of hell loomed large in the Viking consciousness, casting a shadow over their attitudes toward death and shaping their burial practices with a profound sense of caution. Imagine a chilling netherworld, a place of cold and darkness ruled by Hel, the goddess of the underworld, where those who did not die a warrior's death were said to dwell for eternity. This fear of Hel's realm, a stark contrast to the warrior's paradise of Valhalla, was deeply woven into the fabric of Viking life. The thought of being consigned to this desolate world was a fate to be avoided at all costs, driving the Vikings to ensure their dead were honored according to tradition and valor. Burial practices during this time were carefully crafted to prevent the deceased from ending up in Hel's grip. Graves were often accompanied by offerings and possessions meant to aid the departed in their journey, a reflection of their belief in an afterlife where one's earthly deeds continued to echo. The Vikings took great care in positioning their bodies for burial, sometimes aligning them in ways believed to deter their spirits from wandering toward Hel. This was not just a ritual but a deliberate attempt to influence the cosmos, showcasing their desire to ensure a favorable afterlife. Norse sources such as the Poetic Edda paint vivid pictures of Hel's daunting realm, while modern artistic interpretations capture the somber coldness of this underworld, emphasizing the sharp contrast between the warmth of Valhalla and the shadowy depths below. Through these depictions, we gain insight into a culture where the afterlife was a tangible concern, driving not only their funerary customs but also the way they lived their lives, striving for glory and noble death that could bypass the frigid embrace of Hel. By delving into the fear of Hel, we uncover a society that saw death not as an end but as a complex journey filled with potential perils and wonders, urging them to live with valor and honor, lest they find themselves in the dark corners of eternity. Viking tattoos and body modifications unveil a fascinating glimpse into the deeply symbolic world of the Norse people, where skin became a canvas for storytelling and spiritual expression. Imagine a society that adorned their bodies with intricate designs, each mark steeped in meaning and personal significance. These tattoos often depicted images of gods, legendary beasts, and profound symbols drawn from their rich mythology. For the Vikings, body art was more than mere decoration. It was believed to invoke protection or signify notable achievements, serving as both a spiritual shield and a badge of honor. Archaeological evidence, though sparse, hints at the prevalence of these practices, with historical accounts and preserved remains suggesting that tattoos played a pivotal role in expressing identity and valor. Some sagas describe warriors and seafarers proudly displaying tattoos that chronicled their adventures and victories, transforming their skin into a living tapestry of tales. Modern interpretations strive to bring these ancient designs to life, with depictions that capture the intricacy and boldness of Viking artistry. These representations highlight how the Vikings used body modifications as extensions of their beliefs, embedding their skin with symbols that connected them to their gods and the natural world. As we explore this aspect of Viking culture, we uncover a society where personal expression was entwined with deeply held values, illustrating a world where every tattoo bore a narrative of courage, faith, and the enduring quest for transcendence. Through these vivid expressions, we glimpse a civilization that saw the body as a sacred vessel, capable of reflecting the mysteries and might of the Viking spirit. Frightening Viking legends and myths, such as the tale of the Wild Hunt, offer a window into the rich tapestry of Norse storytelling, where the line between reality and myth blurred with chilling effect. Imagine a haunting scene where ghostly riders thunder across the night sky, led by a spectral figure known to the Vikings as Odin, riding high at the helm of the Wild Hunt. This myth, among others, was not just a tale to send shivers down the spine, but served as a powerful tool to convey moral lessons and warnings about the world around them. These stories were steeped in cautionary themes, warning of the dangers of straying from one's path or the consequences of moral failings. They were used to teach the importance of integrity, loyalty, and respect for the natural and supernatural forces that surrounded them. Through these myths, the Vikings imparted values and life lessons across generations, ensuring that even the most terrifying tales held purpose beyond mere fright. The echoes of these stories can be found in the rich Norse sagas, where every character and creature embodies a deeper message or lesson about human nature and the world. Such myths also reinforced the social norms of the time, serving as reminders of the customs and rites that governed their lives. In visual depictions, the legends come alive with vivid imagery, capturing both the awe and fear they instilled. These artistic representations underscore the duality of these tales, both enchanting and terrifying, reflecting a world where the mysterious was embraced as a guide. As we delve into these legends, we uncover a society deeply attuned to the complexities of life, using stories not just to entertain but to impart wisdom, caution, and an understanding of the realms seen and unseen. Through these legends, we gain insight into a Viking culture that revered storytelling as a vital link to their heritage, guiding them in both the light of day and the darkest of nights. The ritualistic burial of animals alongside their Viking owners offers a compelling glimpse into the intertwined beliefs of companionship and service beyond death. Imagine a world where the loyalty of animals was honored even in the afterlife, their presence considered essential to accompany and serve their masters. This practice was rooted in the profound Viking belief that the bonds formed in life extended into their eternal journey. In these burials, animals were not merely seen as possessions but as companions who held symbolic significance. Horses were among the most common animals chosen for these rites, revered for their strength and status, symbolizing speed and the ability to navigate the afterlife's terrain with grace and power. Dogs, too, were frequently laid to rest with their owners, embodying loyalty and protection, thought to guard their masters in the afterlife as they did in life. Other animals, such as falcons or hawks, occasionally appeared in these burials, representing acumen and the ability to transcend earthly confines. Archaeological reconstructions have unearthed remarkable burial sites where these animals were meticulously interred alongside their human counterparts, sometimes in ship burials or large mounds that signified the deceased's high status and achievements. Artifacts discovered at these sites, including bridles, saddles, and ornamental implements, illustrate the significance of these animals, often highlighting a narrative of the owner's life and rank. These findings enrich our understanding of a society where death was accompanied by the familiar and the revered, painting a vivid picture of a world where animals held revered roles in both life and the afterlife. Through these rituals, the Vikings demonstrated a belief in a universe where the earthly and the spiritual were deeply connected, ensuring that their passage to the other side was guided by the trusted companions of their mortal journeys. By exploring these customs, we delve into a culture that intertwined life and death with ritual and reverence, highlighting the profound impact of animals in their world. The Viking views on disease and plagues offer a fascinating insight into a world where the mysterious and mundane were intricately entwined. Imagine a society that perceived illness not merely as a physical ailment, but often as a manifestation of supernatural forces. The Vikings viewed the onset of disease as being driven by malevolent spirits or the wrath of displeased gods, making their approach to healing a blend of both earthly and mystical practices. Remedies often began with offerings to the gods, seeking divine intervention to ward off these unseen foes. Rituals might involve sacrifices to appease deities like Thor or Odin, believed to possess the power to heal or at least mitigate the devastating effects of plagues. Practical methods also played a crucial role, as the Vikings utilized herbs and natural concoctions to treat symptoms and bolster their resilience. They relied on the knowledge of healers who understood the medicinal properties of plants like yarrow and chamomile, aiming to restore health through nature's bounty. Historical accounts reveal a variety of approaches taken by Viking communities during epidemics, with some artifacts pointing to communal efforts to protect the sick and prevent the spread of disease. Archaeological discoveries of protective amulets and charms underscore the importance of spiritual safeguards, serving as talismans against the perceived causes of illness. These items were often inscribed with runes or symbols thought to hold protective powers, reflecting their belief in a world where health was a delicate balance of physical and spiritual forces. The Vikings' handling of disease was thus a reflection of their broader worldview, where the lines between the natural and supernatural were fluid, and survival depended on harmonizing with both realms. By exploring their views on disease, we uncover a culture that navigated the complexities of health with a unique blend of tradition, faith, and ingenuity, illustrating a society where every illness was a reminder of the delicate interplay between humanity and the cosmos. As we conclude our journey through the eerie facets of Viking life, we step back to reflect on a culture rich with customs that can both fascinate and chill us. From the sacrificial practices at funerals to the chilling rituals of human offerings, we see a civilization deeply intertwined with both the mystical and the macabre. The stories of Draugr, bloodthirsty wars, and the fear of hell all paint a vivid picture of a society that danced on the edge of fear and reverence for the unknown. These elements, while unsettling, unveil a worldview where life and death were inextricably linked, a testament to the Vikings' fierce commitment to their beliefs and values. Now, as we reflect on these eerie traditions, we invite you to ponder what struck you the most about the Viking world. Was it their use of skulls as drinking vessels, or perhaps their blood-curdling battle games? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you have found this exploration into the past as thrilling as we have, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more intriguing historical mysteries that will transport you to different eras of human history. Thank you for joining us in uncovering the shadows of Viking life.